Black magic, God, Holy Ghost, Lord, orgasmic, order more acid, more than 4 tablets, portal door passage, born before mortal war happened. We were lords way before we were poor black men. Now we like Catherine, only having 4 Jacksons. Sword of pure magic, slaughter 4 dragons. Heat like corduroy fabric, door-to-door tactics. Easy like tortoise on boarded floor backspins. Rapping like the man that created it, and I just play with it. Shine radiant, raising it, sunbathing it. Voice tone sharper than razor tip. When I aim it at mega lifts, make them raise and lift. You can't relate to this, even if you paint a pic of me and you and somehow make the faces switch. I like to babysit, throne made of baby skin, donated by natives that procreate in sin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Put the globe on my middle finger and made it spin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Even Damien and Satan is afraid of him. I heard the devil's Tasmanian. Raps made them spin fast, vast, hailing winds. Abstract radiance. Underneath my crack cranium is gas radium. Hash cascadian, cash cascading in. At the end of the movie, the crack baby wins. Pack track stadiums, clap, clap, praising him. Tap that waitress, have crack, crack.
Peace, family, and welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich, back once again with the living legend himself, Professor Griff. Welcome back, my brother.
Good, thanks, Brother Rich, and it's a pleasure to be back. I know there's a lot to talk about. We can't cover it in an hour, so yeah. it's just we have to just be able to be mindful of what we have to do to get this unfiltered kind of information out to the people and let people know what's going on from a different perspective.
Indeed, indeed. I want to let the people. I think I want to try to go live next week, Professor Griff. If not next week, because it's BAM here in New York, the BAM Week Festival weekend. So I might be filming, but whenever we go do the show again, I want to try to go live. We tried a couple of times, it didn't work out, but I fixed some things with my equipment. So just want to let everybody know. I'm gonna talk to you about that behind the scenes, but I definitely want to try to go live next show.
Okay, cool. Just make it happen, man.
But besides that, a lot of talk in the news, things going on. One of the things that everybody's talking about that has everyone's attention that we definitely want to hear Griff speak on is the royal wedding. Now, before we get into the whole, Meagan Markle and black people at the royal wedding and all that stuff, I remember for years people kept saying that the so-called Queen Elizabeth and Prince Harry and all of them, that they're really German. I've heard actors say that. Russell Brand, of course, Alex Jones, he got a lot of videos saying that. David Icke, Phil Valentine speaked on the Nazi connection. Do you have you heard of that? Do you got any info on their German connection, Professor Griff?
Yeah, but I just kind of thought that was common knowledge, because from the Phil Valentines to the Steve Coakley's to the even like you said, the Alex Joneses, the Jordan Maxwell's, even the Michael Tessarians and the rest of these cats, David Icke, of course. Mm-hmm. This is common knowledge among, I guess now, certain circles of people that have certain kind of information. And a lot of people are not privy to this information, I guess because they're not in them circles. But when we decide to put this kind of information out, I think people take it as conspiracy theory, and they don't take it as actual fact. So I think that's why it's so surprising to some people that, wow, I didn't know that. But even now when we say it, it's actual fact. All people got to do is look it up and go back and look through who are the royals, and you go back and you'll see the German Nazi connection, and it goes deeper than that. You see the Luciferian connection, the Satanic connection. It's there. It's there for anyone to read, anyone to compare notes and see for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, like I said, Brother Rich, it's common knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it's not that deep where people can't find this information out. I was, I pulled up some stuff and I was watching it today. I'm like, wow, I wonder if people know this. And then I said to myself, okay, I've been talking about that for a long time. Plus the Steve Coakleys and the other people have been talking about this. Why go back over that history?
Yeah, I remember when Prince Harry went to a costume party and had the swastika on his jacket, and people were like, "Oh, he doesn't know any better," and everybody was like, "Nah, he knows exactly what he's doing."
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, man. Okay, so Professor Griff, now, so give me your take on some people were happy with the royal wedding, and they feel as though Reverend Al Sharpton said that this is another sign that white supremacy is on its last leg. It's basically white supremacy is basically dying out. Some people see it as a victory for black people, or a symbolic victory, a literal victory. Some people just don't like it. They feel as though we went from Wakanda to Buckingham Palace, that we was just celebrating Wakanda a couple of months ago, and now we can't wait to integrate with the royal family of Great Britain. So, as usual, everybody's going to have their opinion. But what's your take from witnessing this? Is this a sign? Is this a sign of desperation? Is this a chess move? What do you think about what you've seen with this royal wedding, Professor Griff?
I mean, just from the small little vantage point that I'm kind of viewing it from, through the lens that I'm viewing it through, it's a few things on a few levels, Brother Rich, and not to get long-winded, but some people may look at it as the dismantling now on a subconscious level of racism, white supremacy. And I read some of the things that Al Sharpton and other people had to say, whether they was in D.C., New York, on the streets, or, just the average person. Some people are looking at it like we're getting back to what it was before, when black people ruled. Back to the real royal family, back to the real royals, the jet black dark Brits, which is the black nobility that ruled Britain. Some people say, like Al Sharpton said, I think it's a hiccup, Al Sharpton, as opposed to white supremacy taking its last breath. It's probably just a hiccup. That's not going to stop racism, white supremacy. We need to understand that it's a system. And it had individuals that, but because they weren't black, they still spoke up and out for the vast majority of human beings of different complexions on the planet. Princess Diana was one of them, and you see where she ended up. So we have to be very, very mindful and very careful the position that this woman is in. You understand? Meagan Markle. She's in a very volatile position. So much so it's a very dangerous position also, because if you not only read and listen to what black people have to say about Meagan Markle and the quote unquote royal wedding, you should hear what white people have to say. Did we dare to go over and listen to what they had to say? It's utterly dangerous, I want to say. That's the best word I can kind of pull up. The comments that are coming from white people,
give me an example. Give an example of a comment you heard that's dangerous.
One of the comments is the fact that the Queen was sitting there disgusted, and I know she wanted to, if she could blurt out, she would say, what the fuck is this? Get rid of all of these niggas out of the royal family. You're inviting niggas to the royal family. Now, I read this today. I'm like, wow. But I wasn't surprised. I'm surprised that people are surprised. Because the average person doesn't do their research and homework. Before those royals were there, if you look at the history of of how the Queen even got there. It's a very murderous, tempestuous, incestuous, backbiting, murderous kind of drama, man. That will trump any murder mystery movie, man. If you look at the history of how they got there. If you look at the history of how the royals became the royals after beating black people down and pushing black people into certain areas, and then black people slowly disappeared. If you look at the treacherous, murderous raping and robbing and genocide of people around the globe, everywhere there's land controlled by the crown, it is ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it is worthy of people throwing up and passing the hell out once you really go into the depths of who these people really are. So you might want to stop crying crocodile tears and cheering on this woman now that she's there in that space. This sister got to watch her back. And let me just say something as a side note, Brother Rich, before we get going too tough. For all of these people that I'm seeing writing that she's not black anyway, then what the fuck are you upset for? If you looked at her and said, well, she ain't black anyway, then what you upset for? What do you just dismiss it then? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, man, she's nothing but a bedwench and she's this, that, and the other, integrating and marrying a white boy and whatever. Well, if you wrote her off as being white, then why are you writing her off talking about she marrying a white boy? You never considered her black anyway. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, that was actually my next question anyway. There's a lot of people have a very narrow view of what they consider to be black. Now, you know, if they see a mulatto, if they see her, they'll say she's not black. I've heard people say Colin Kaepernick's not black. I've heard people say your wife Soleil's not black. I've heard the people say Zaza Ali's not black. I've heard people say Tariq Nasheed's wife not black. Like pretty much everybody, you know, on that, you know, is mulatto or has a certain look to them or a certain hair texture. You know, Colin Kaepernick, he ain't black anyway. So what is black at this point, Professor Griff? I mean, we're just going to write all of these people off anyway.
I think it'll be best, Brother Rich, if we just do something on the streets in New York, you and I, and we just ask the people, like, what is black to you? Some people say it's a mindset. Some people say it's the essence of every color. Some people say it's a few things. Some say you have to look the part. Some say it's a texture of hair. Some say it's the lineage of your mother. Some say, well, today, I don't know what these people are talking about, man. Because I've said over the years that me and Soleil even put up pictures of our parents. You understand what I'm saying? Soleil's mom is darker than me, and my mother's lighter than Soleil. So yeah. So I don't know how these people that are determining who's black and who's not. And I think they're doing it just for convenience, just for the argument. Yeah, I think, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, I've heard them say that about my wife, and I've even heard some people's response that grew up with her from Kansas City says, no, Soleil as black as they come. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think they got caught up into the elementary understanding of colorism. Right. They got caught up into the elementary kindergarten mentality of what it truly means to be black. I said to someone recently that can I have a conversation with you about that? Because you know, if you say that my wife is black but she's not really black, like what do you mean by that? So I had to go into basic kind of elementary teachings, and I asked the gentleman, what? And I want to ask this question tonight. What color is vanilla? And I'm just throwing this out there, Brother Rich. Mm. And when people Google vanilla in its original state, right? Vanilla is darker than your ashy ass elbow, Brother Rich. Mm. I mean, let's just be honest. If you go into the earth, right, and vanilla. Vanilla is not white. So just people's basic understanding, everything that's good for us and natural that's coming out of the earth is dark. This is why we say we put living food in a living body. And our melanin, since it lines every organ, it absorbs it naturally because it looks like us. You follow what I'm saying? They have to make it look like them because racism permeates every sphere of life, and it's there in the kitchen. There's racism in the kitchen. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at sugar and flour and all this other kind of stuff, these are dark substances originally coming out of the earth. Vanilla and other substances, things that we need to sustain life. And it's ugly, but it's something we have to understand from a very deep-rooted level. These people are sick that enslaved us, that kidnapped us, that murdered and raped us, and set up a system of racism and white supremacy that we have to live in. These people are sick, and we have to understand that particular dynamic, man. For real.
Indeed. Now, a lot of people on Twitter, I've seen a video, my son, the activist, also rapper my son posted,
right.
And a lot of other people posted on Twitter that they felt as though there was a double standard in the way in which black women responded to the wedding. I mean, a lot of black women online were extremely happy. They felt like this was a come up. Homegirl's a princess now. She's a duchess. This is what it's about. This is what it's about, ladies. You gotta come up, you gotta get a man or, royalty, all that stuff, and they feel as though they didn't have that same energy a couple of weeks ago when it was revealed that Childish Gambino has a white wife, and the internet was kind of upset at that. They were saying how you can't be pro-black, you can't, and have a white woman at the same time. So do you see this at all as being a double standard with the way women are responding to the royal wedding in comparison to the way that they respond to brothers like Childish Gambino having a white wife?
Of course it is. And it's in your face hypocrisy. It's in your face having a double standard. But we have to look at the mindset of these people that's feeling and thinking this way. If you just just run across a rich white dude and you're looking at that as a come up, then you're not worthy of being in the black African family any old way. Plain and simple, because you're looking for anybody as a come up that don't look like your father or your daddy or your brother or your cousin or Pookie or Tay-Tay and them. You understand what I'm saying? If you're just looking for a come up, there's certain ways that you could just, there's certain ways you can come up, so to speak. But let's backtrack and press the reset button. No one said, not that I've heard of, called Childish Gambino a black activist. I've never heard that about him. If you look at his history, he's never confessed that or professed that, pardon me. A comedian, a actor, a talented singer, a talented rapper, made a few songs, had some conscious stuff in it. Never heard that he was a black activist or pro-black. I've never heard that. He's on his second child with this white woman. So I've never seen him out here professing to be this pro-black. But when the information came out and it was leaked that he had a white woman, yeah, people railed him, man. People came out against him. The same thing they did with Michael B. Jordan from the movie Panther. You understand? And his girlfriend is from Cuba. You understand what I'm saying? We know they black. So it's definitely a double standard. Let's just say Meagan Markle was married to a regular old dude from England, not somebody that has billions of dollars. You understand what I'm saying? Then what would be the take on it? Would it still be a come up? You see, a come up to some of the black women in America is anything better than a regular old average black man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not negating that we've been through a lot with one another. Not the brother's fault, not the sister's fault. we have to understand racism, white supremacy, and its attack on the black family, what they've done to us, all right, before we even get to the point where we think we should jump over the fence to marry the children of our open enemy. You understand what I'm saying? What I mean? And this is a very critical in who we decide to choose as a mate. Now, you could bring up the argument right now and call Professor Griff a hypocrite, because would you say that about Frederick Douglass? You understand, who had a white wife? Would you say that about Check Out the Bia? Would you say that about, about a lot of people who stood on the front line and fought for black people but went home to a white woman or a white man? You understand what I'm saying? But I think what women in this day, basically they go after basically that life, not that particular life, but they want to be comfortable. They want to be secure. They want to be supported. They want to be looked at as beautiful. And I'm sure there's black men on the planet that do revere the black woman. It's just it's a difficult time for all of us to find that one that we're compatible with on that particular level. Some people hear what I write and what I say about my wife is a bit over the top. It's not over the top. You understand what I'm saying? Me and my wife have an understanding, and we know the Creator comes first. You understand what I'm saying? But not the Creator outside of itself, the Creator in itself. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I have to do those things and respect her, and speak to those things that for her highest and best good. Some people may look at that as you praising your wife. Well, if that's the way you look at it, that's absolutely fine with me. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't invite people into our bedroom, nor into our ultra secret personal life, the things that we keep just strictly between her and myself. You understand what I'm saying? We know what it is. So when you speak in terms of family and choosing a mate and keeping a bloodline going, we know daggone well some of the people that's got this conspiratorial view of the so-called royal wedding, and they're talking about bloodlines and this, that, and I got 19 calls about the Illuminati when the wedding took place on Saturday. And I'm not taking no calls. I'm good. Tune in the Underground Railroad. You understand what I'm saying? They wanted to talk about the bloodlines and she's married to satanic bloodlines and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, we know at this level, at this stage of the game, Brother Rich, when they talk about bloodline now, they're not talking about the actual physical blood line. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's a bloodline that run and controls and that operates the White House in America. You understand what I'm saying? And that blood is not flowing through Donald Trump's veins. So let's understand that. So it's a bloodline on a different level, Brother Rich. And I hope I made that clear to people. I wasn't shirking my duty and responsibility and answering the calls and talking to the people like I often do about satanic bloodlines and what she's marrying into. I wish people would do just a little bit more research and stop getting sound bites off of YouTube before they call me. Indeed. So yes, to answer your question directly, of course it's a double standard. I've seen people crying crocodile tears and passing out. Gawking over her $247,000 dress to go change clothes into a $107,000 dress. Yeah, you trying to get a come up like that? Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Did they study the amount of diamonds that's in the Queen's crown and where those diamonds come from, and how many black lives had to get cut short to have all those diamonds in that crown?
Wow. Now, in terms of racial mixing, Professor Griff, it appears that both sides, if you want to call it sides, but people with different ideologies are upset at the same thing. the white supremacists are upset. They feel as though the liberal media, as they call it, the liberal media everything is the liberals now. They feel as though the liberals are pushing diversity, and racial mixing for, I guess you could say, white genetic annihilation, as Dr. Francis Quest Welsing say. They fear, white genetic annihilation, or they feel as though their numbers are decreasing, and they feel like the so-called liberal media is responsible for that. But at the same time, there are people that are what people will call pro-black, feel as though the same media that the white supremacists call liberal, they call racist, and they say they're pushing the racial mixing agenda to weaken the black gene pool. So this racial mixing, both sides feel as though, hey, it's benefiting you guys. And the other side is saying, hey, no, it's benefiting you guys. Look what they're doing. So in terms of, since it seems that a lot of people are mad at the same thing, does this benefit anybody? Does this benefit a particular group when we talk about racial mixing and that being pushed in the mainstream media, Professor Griff?
Well, Brother Rich, let's understand it from this perspective. Now, I'm not trying to be super scientific about this. When you look at Hitler and you started reading and seeing what the Third Reich was doing, you started seeing what the SS was doing, you start to go into the mindset of Hitler's Third Reich. Then you pull 2 layers away and you see that he was financed by some Jewish people. And then it rocks you back in your chair like, wait a minute. You understand what I'm saying? So who was really doing what when you supporting this person that's talking about a master race? Well, isn't that just like saying the chosen people?
Mm-hmm.
Because only this certain kind of people or person has value. And these people are the chosen people, not chosen by you and me, not chosen by the judges on The Voice or one of these reality shows, whoever chooses them. This is the chosen people of God. That's the same as saying the master race, because they're saying they're superior. It's the same ideology and the same mindset, Brother Rich. But then we have to study who's the media. Who controls and manipulates and runs the media? These are the same people, Brother Rich. These are relatives of the same people. There's only about, maybe the last time I counted was 5 major stations, 5 major corporations that run the entire media.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find out, okay, well, who are these people? You understand what I'm saying? A few Anglo-Saxons, a few Jews, and a few other people. So we have to understand, who are these people, Brother Rich? Let's answer that question in short and in real brief, pardon me. They are the same people that will sit at private meetings like the Bilderberg group or the Bilderbergs, will sit there, have no allegiance to any state, no allegiance to any religion, no allegiance to any people. You understand what I'm saying? When they walk through the door, they take on a whole different persona, a whole different character, whole different allegiance, Brother Rich. And it's these people that we've been talking about for a long time. So some people may say the Jews did this and the Jews did that. Some people may write it off like all of the white people are guilty and blah, 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 blah. Rather than doing some basic research and looking into who are these people and what kind of oaths that they've taken and where their alliance lie. So we have to, if we're going to understand this, we have to stop being surface and we have to start digging for the answers, Brother Rich. There's someone, Brother Rich, that controls the media. The media doesn't run itself. Right or wrong?
Mm-hmm.
If you did a YouTube search right now on why is it that every news source has the same story at the same time all the time, Brother Rich. You will see that this is mind control at its finest. Why does every station, regardless of what the complexion of the news anchor person look like, they all sound the same? They all have the same headline news. They all have the same inflection in the voice. It's the same madness over, and it's a spin cycle over and over and over and over again. And it moves real quick because it only stays in the spin cycle for more than 72 hours. So just a minute ago we were talking about Kanye. That's dead now. That got, and just a few minutes ago we was talking about Childish Gambino. That's dead now. Now it's a royal wedding. What's going to be after that? The white lawyer dude running around New York City? What's going to be after that? You understand what I'm saying? and like I said, there's someone that's in the back office of these news services that's giving the green light on what story to tell. So it might benefit them, but when you and I look at racism and white supremacy, it doesn't benefit them at all. They're poisoning the gene pool, so to speak. Am I right or wrong? Then how does it benefit black people? It benefits black people because now there's more black people on the black side of the chessboard fighting for black people. Those people don't necessarily fight for black people. So I don't see how it benefits anyone. It would probably, if I looked at it through a narrow lens, I'd say it probably hurt white people more than it would help white people because their numbers are dwindling, Brother Rich. And there's more people that's looking like you and I on the planet, although they never told the truth about that in the first place, man. We outnumber them 11-1. We're not talking about the donages that go get tans and wear braids in their hair. No, we're talking about real black people, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And like Malcolm said, they don't care what cards you carry in your wallet or what you profess to be. When they see you and they see those genetics on that genetical level and they see that melanin, you black to them, plain and simple. Like Malcolm said, they don't kill you because you're Methodist or you're Baptist. They don't kill you because you're Christian. They don't kill you because you're Democrat or Republican. They kill you because you're black. And that's one thing we have in common. So just to let you know on a side note, the crown that the Queen wears has 2,800 diamonds in it. Worth more than probably black nation just in America put together several times over as far as how much we earn per year. It would take us probably, 900 years, all of our life, to work 900 years to make that much money that's in that crown.
Wow. Amazing. Well, speaking of just to change topics real quick, you mentioned the NYC lawyer that, recently went viral, got donkey today, and was all over the internet for, he was in the Manhattan store and cursing out the Spanish people and saying he's going to call ICE on them to get them deported, that they're speaking Spanish in his country, and this is his country and whatnot. And, the people responded. He went viral. They had a paparazzi all over him the next day. They sent the mariachi band to play. They had him running one day. I was like, wow, they going hard at dude. I think he got kicked out of his lawyer office as well. But, the internet went super hard at this dude. Do you feel sympathetic to this dude at all, Griff? Have you ever been in a situation where you got frustrated because nobody in the store speaks English and maybe you didn't say it out loud what he said, but you said it inside your mind? You said the same thing that he said?
No, never. I was at a Whole Food and the sister got my order wrong. I was getting one of those fresh juices. she got the order wrong, and she even, when we came, I went to pay for it. I was giving her my card, and a lot of times, I have not a ritual, but a practice that I've grown accustomed of. I don't release my card unless they tell me the price. I mean, it may be a small thing, Brother Rich, but if you practice that, you'll find it comes in handy. I say, how much is it? And I get the price in my head, and I determine whether or not I want to use my card or which card I want to use, or give cash. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't let my card go until they tell me the price. And she was telling, she said 74, and it was a chick from Ethiopia. Well, she might have been Somalian, and I just said, "Excuse me?" She said it again the same way, and I said, "Okay, sister, let me just see the receipt real quick." And she caught an attitude. So it was a stalemate for a few seconds there. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's it. And I said, in a nice, polite manner, let me see the receipt real quick. And she showed it to me. I said, "Oh, $17.40. And she looked at me like, "Yeah, nigga, that's what the fuck I said." I'm like, "Oh," she gave me that look like, "Yeah, that's what I said." It's like, so it actually worked in reverse, Brother Rich. And I just wanted to make sure you weren't charging me $70 for a few drinks as opposed to $17. But because, but because she didn't say the $17.40, I didn't kick up a dust and have it in my mind that she shouldn't be working at Whole Foods, or you should learn how to speak English before you get a job at home. You know how many places I've been where I had to kind of make out what they're saying? You know how many restaurants I've been in, car washes I've been to, and different establishments where they speak Italian or whatever that they didn't speak the King's English. Shit, I don't speak the King's English. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't get bent out of shape and threaten people and threaten to call ICE on them and want to deport them back to their own country. Look at early America. Before white people came and took it from the Native Americans. Did white people that took it from the Native Americans, did they speak some of the native languages? No, they didn't, Brother Rich. They came here, worked hard, and adjusted to it, and learned how to speak the English language. I used to go shopping on Delancey Street when it was really popular. Them cats are straight off the goddamn boat from Italy, man. They didn't speak English, but they know how to sell you some goddamn clothes. When's the last time you've been to a Chinese restaurant? They can barely speak it. They know a few words. Shrimp fried rice and some goddamn chicken, and they know how to swipe your card. Am I right or wrong? That's America, man. That's New York for you, bro. There's so many different people in New York. It's crazy. And then you got the mixing of the people. Italian brother may look at a Mexican sister, and they might hook up. So imagine the dialects that's in that home. White speaking Mexican and the dude speaking Italian. You understand what I'm saying?
Indeed, yeah.
So I'm like, no, I don't know. To answer your question directly, no. I don't get bent out of shape. I just work with people. I click every time I leave the house. Me and my wife, we click on our patients, man. Especially when we go to deal with our people. Let me tell you something straight up, man. I was at the damn barber shop today listening to a conversation, and I needed a goddamn interpreter, man. And there was nothing but black people in there from the hood.
Good.
But I barely knew what they were talking about, man. So, yeah, Brother Rich, I click my patients on and I roll with the punches, man. Never do I get to the point where I want to deport somebody and go on a rant like this guy went on a rant. Mm-hmm. Wanting people to speak English in his presence when he speaks Spanish. Did you know that?
Yeah, on his website it says it. Crazy. Yeah.
On his website it says he's fluent at speaking Spanish. I'm like, wow. So what's the real motive behind that, Brother Rich? Because I heard him say, you come to my country. This dude's supposed to be a lawyer, and you don't know the basic American history? That you came and butchered it and stole it from the Native Americans and black people? And you committed genocide and you... Oh, come on, man. My country. Wow.
Hey, he wants to make America great again, man.
Ain't that something? and so does Kanye West. Well, go on.
I got one last question for you, Professor Griff. Real quick before you get out of here, I had to ask you about being that you're hip-hop, you're an icon in this game, been doing your thing for a lot of years. You hear the type of language we use in hip-hop, and you also get to see who comes to the concerts, who pays the money, who buys the albums, and who's singing your songs all the time. So there was a situation where Kendrick Lamar was performing at a concert, and he invited, a white girl on stage to sing one of his songs. So she proceeded to sing one of his songs, and of course, in his songs, like the majority of rap songs, you're going to hear the word nigga a lot in the rap song. Right. So on stage, she chose to sing the song uncensored. She didn't censor out the N-word. She chose to say it. So the people in the crowd started booing, and Kendrick told her, she had to. He got the mic from her, and he told her she had to censor out one word, and she was just like, "What did I do wrong?" And then she eventually caught on and did it. But in terms of what I want to ask you, Professor Griff, because there's always outrage when we hear white people say nigga, and a lot of hip hop artists feel as though they can't get offended when the people are saying it in the club or at their concerts because they're just singing along to the song. So what do you think about this particular situation? Should artists be more responsible? Should it be understanding? Is it just entertainment? As an artist, what do you think about this particular situation, Professor Griff?
Well, that's a very critical situation. I think because sometimes, and I've done it overseas back in the day. You lend your mic to somebody in the audience. Well, it actually backfired on me. I gave my mic to an angry brother, and he just went the hell off, man. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, that ain't had nothing to do with the song. I didn't plan it, but I gave my mic thinking that the brother was gonna sing along. That brother grabbed the mic and went off. But I see a lot of people pulling people on stage. I see a lot of artists jumping into the audience, and people are rapping along and singing along. And I think Kendrick Lamar should know, and this is a valuable lesson for Kendrick, that if your song is laced with those kind of lyrics, if you're trying to send out a certain message, or you wrote that message specifically for the brothers in the hood, then you're running a risk when you pull in these other people that obviously are your fan, all right? You almost writing those lyrics and putting it out there like that and then pulling them on stage, you're almost giving them the green light, man. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you was really worried about her singing the song, it would have been best for you to pull her on stage on another song, bro. Mm-hmm. And I think, yes, there's a duty and responsibility that we have when we write and when we perform these songs and we put the imagery out there and we put the music out there. Of course, there's a collective and individual duty and responsibility that we not only owe to ourselves, family members, collective group that we're from, so to speak. Can you imagine Eminem taking to the stage and handing his mic to some black chick that comes up on stage and starts going off on white people? You understand what I'm saying? We run the risk at doing these things, or she goes and digs up an Eminem song where he was calling black women bitches and hoes. So we have to be very mindful. Now, I could say that he should have used it as a teachable moment. You understand what I'm saying? Right. I wouldn't have moved on to the next song until I got to the root of that and talked to the audience and let people know, you see, this is what happens. You know? My bad, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Mm. And I can do better when I You know, I do my songs and whatever, because there's a whole bunch of words that I have swirling around in my head, other than the word nigga, other than the word bitch, other than the word hoe. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And all of us that are hailing the Kendrick Lamars, we're hailing them as being the next group of conscious individuals that's going to come across and bring consciousness back around to where it needs to be, and social responsibility back around to where it needs to be. Yeah, we have to wait till these brothers grow into that. And it's a growing process. You understand what I'm saying? I still like Kendrick Lamar. Still love the brother for his artistry. You understand what I'm saying? Stuff like that's gone. It's going to happen. People came at Public Enemy. Of course, I wasn't there. They came at Public Enemy for Bring the Noise with Anthrax. And we integrating the music. We're supposed to be pro-black, but we got white dudes on stage that we doing our music with. Well, not me. Of course, they threw me in it because they didn't know I wasn't in Public Enemy at the time when that went down. Yeah, 1968, the Afro first came on the scene. The Afro pick came on the scene. Muhammad Ali took his pick out and started picking his hair on TV. The birth of Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, 1968, Black Fist in the Air, Black Power. But on the R&B scene, one of the baddest R&B groups to ever exist in the world, Sly and the Family Stone, had an integrated group. White people, Spanish people, and black people. Latino people. He had all kinds of people in that group. You understand what I'm saying? And he made songs like Everyday People, Family Affair. You understand what I'm saying? So we just have to understand that it's a growing process, not only for Kendrick Lamar, but it's a growing process for Kendrick Lamar's fans. And this is how we need to view it, man. Plain and simple. Now that chick could not have been on Public Enemy stage calling somebody a nigga and using that terminology. Says, "Oh, whoa, stop the press. We don't do that here." You understand what I'm saying? Now Kendrick Lamar in his artistry should have stopped the music. You understand what I'm saying? Say, "Hold up, young lady, let me see that mic," and spit something real raw a cappella. You understand what I'm saying? That would have probably tore the house down. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have to think like that. We just do.
Indeed.
But anyway, that's my take on it, Brother Rich.
Well, brother, I definitely appreciate once again for you coming on the show, and I want you to leave your contact info. I got the email, by the way. You sent me an email with some pics and a flyer. I know you got something coming up, so I'm gonna put that on when I upload this video. But let the people know what you got going on, brother, and let them know how they can reach out and touch you.
Oh, okay, just thanks. Starting this Wednesday, of course, I had the emergency survival class happening this Wednesday, so y'all got to call me as soon as Brother Rich put this up. Call me at 678-557-2919 if y'all want to participate in the class. Brother Rich is going to put my PayPal information, which is www.paypal.me/Professor Griff Corporation, if y'all want to sign up for the emergency survival class on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm speaking at Meadow Bookstore at Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta. And then Friday, I'm going to see my man Tech 9. I don't know if y'all want to come, but yeah, I'm going to see my man Tech 9 in Atlanta, Georgia. And then Saturday, I'm in Lithonia, Georgia at the Black Dot Bookstore and Cultural Center. Me and Griffo, we're breaking down these symbols that are thrusted in front of us from the Freemason perspective. And the Freemasons now have lent their spirit and their energy to some of these multinational corporations, and they don't mind using some of the same kind of symbols that the Freemasons are using in their ads and with their companies and this kind of thing. So we're going to break that down on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm at the Yoga Skills Studio on Ralph David Abernathy in Atlanta, Georgia at 2:00 on Sunday. And I'm doing a lecture entitled "What the Fuck, Brother Rich?" And basically that's WTF, hashtag WTF, I'm going into some of these things that's happening behind the scenes that's going on right now, Brother Rich, that I think, especially the people in Atlanta and in Georgia, need to know about. Boy, can I give an example real quick?
Yeah.
There's been over five, I'm going to say five one more time, 5 neo-Nazi Klan rallies this year in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
And no one that's on my radar is even mentioning it. Atlanta Black Star talking about it. A few other people online are talking about it. But I'm like, come on. Not only that, Brother Rich, and I need you to sit down for this one. This year alone, I think it's up to 6 people have been lynched.
Yeah. I'm glad
they just found a body the other day at Walmart.
Yeah.
There was a body a couple of weeks ago over by the AU Center. There was a body in the Piedmont Park. And this is happening right here in Atlanta. And all we doing here in Atlanta is partying and bullshitting, Brother Rich. Ain't nobody talking. I shouldn't say ain't nobody talking about it. There's a few people talking about it. But I'm like, wait a minute, man. Why are the barbershops and the hair salons and why are we up in rage, man? People are getting lynched in 2018. So my conversation this Sunday, and y'all can call me to get advance tickets or whatever, or just pay at the door. As a matter of fact, Brother Rich, I'm giving my book, Symbology, away to the first 25 people. I'm giving it away free for the first 25 people that walk through the door. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is information that we have to get out, Brother Rich. We're dying every way imaginable under the system of racism, white supremacy. Right now, the white police officer, retired police officer, about to go on trial for shooting the naked black man. He was running around naked, probably on that, what they call that stuff in Atlanta, them drugs now, man. Flocka. There's a drug called Flocka.
Yeah.
And they spraying it with that clean. So now you see some of these cats, man, they are losing their minds, man. So the brother was running around naked, barking at people, they said. So when they called the police and the police show up, naturally, white police, naturally he pulls a gun, naturally he shoots the brother down, and that's their answer for everything. Not trying to restrain them, don't tase them, don't use non-lethal weapons, which they have available. You understand what I'm saying? But they shoot the brother down. And they're protesting right here in Decatur, Georgia, to see if the brother's going to get justice. So there's things that's going down right here, man. You understand what I'm saying? That we don't even know about. So the title of my lecture is #WTF. And somebody has to speak to these things. I'm going to record it, and if people want to purchase it or they want to catch it when I do this thing next month on World Star, they can do that, man. So June 6th, World Star Hit Radio, Professor Griff show, Sirius Mindz, is kicking off. All right? So that's the next thing that's popping up. And, of course, y'all know that June 23rd, me and my man Terminator X is doing a revolutionary look through the lens, telling the history of hip-hop. June 23rd, Saturday, June 23rd, at Mindz Music, Soul Village, right next to Mindz Music in Atlanta, Georgia, at 4 o'clock, man. To get your tickets, y'all got to go to www.paypal.me/Professor Griff Corporation, all right? It's going to be a serious event. And guess what, Brother Rich? My wife, Soleil, is going to perform. I got to see this for myself. I'm going to have my man Jason Orr is going to be there. And you know, he did the Diary of the Decade. Minister Server is going to be there. Chubb Rock. You know Chubb Rock, right? Chubb Rock is going to be there. My man DJ Nabs and my man Jazz, who used to run Earwax Records here in Atlanta for a long time. He's going to be there. This is a musical lecture, man. You understand what I'm saying? So we need the people to come on out. Once again, save the date, man. That's Saturday, June 23rd at 4 o'clock at Soul Village, right next to Mindz Music and Little 5 Points and the ATL. My phone number is 678-557-2919 to get tickets for all these events. All right, but last but not least, they've been asking me, Brother Rich, and I'm finally going to come to Chicago, man. The weekend of July, I think 13th, 14th, and 15th. Professor Griff will be there. Soleil is going to be there for the Soul Fest. She's doing yoga, she's teaching, and then she's getting back with me and my man Nissan, and we're doing the art of war. He's doing Qigong, and Soleil's doing her science of breath work, and I'm teaching the art of war. All right, so they got to call me for that information. I got the details of making a flyer right now. My number is 678-557-2919. Once again, as always, I appreciate you, Brother Rich. Love, honor, and respect, man, for your platform that's educating so many people, man. I've been getting calls from Africa, Japan, from the Virgin Islands. You understand what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, Brother Rich. Yes, definitely.
That's what's up, my brother. Thanks for coming on, family. Thanks for tuning in. This is Underground Railroad with Professor Griff. Make sure you click on them links in the description bar to see what Griff got going on. We're going to see you next week, family. We signing out. Peace.
Peace.